Labor Day. I hope you were able to enjoy the holiday with your family and friends. We're going to make a pop-up card tonight using the jar of flowers. I'm going into the fall products now. I pulled out the jar of flowers and I'm hoping you're going to like it. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan's Simple Paper Crafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Well, lately I've been going Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now, give me a second so I can turn the camera down and we can get started. Here's our jar of flower pop-up card. Now, before I show you how it pops up, I wanted to have some dimensions on the front of the card to make it look like it's sitting on a table. And here's a brick wall behind it. And I did emboss this with the, I think it's brick and mortar embossing card, but it added too much weight to it. So for the next card, we're going to use one of these sheets of paper. So I'm thinking we'll go with this one here, but these were the other bricks that we had, and those can be found in In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and that's still active. So we're going to use this one to make our wall of bricks. And then In Good Taste also has the wood grain for the table. So, and then the card also doesn't fit in a A2 envelope. So this is an A6. And it'll fit in there just fine. But you won't want to put it in the U.S. mail without protecting the B on the front. Either that or don't put the B on there. So let me show you how it's a pop-up card. So if you pull this here, it pops up. And needs a little more to get it loose enough. So there we go. And I made it an anniversary card because I still have a couple more anniversaries I've got to get made before the end of the year. So, and then on the inside of the card, we have, here's to another year of happily ever after. And so you can do the card this way, or they can do the tent fold, put this all the way down and display it this way. So let's get started. We're going to start with our jar of flowers. So we'll do the jar first, and that is a two-step process. And then it also has reversible stamps. So both of these stamps are reversible. And then there's another piece in the jar of flowers that's also reversible. This right here is reversible as well. So these are all on one stamp. This is one stamp, and then this is one stamp. So what we'll do is we'll do the background first. And I'm going to use Pool Party for that. I want to get the image of my jar. So I want it to look like a real mason jar. And I am just going to stamp off on this paper here to give it a lighter shade. And then I'm going to stamp onto here to transfer the remaining ink onto the card. Not really liking that, but I think with these when I flip this over, it'll look a lot better. So I'm just going to clean that stamp off now, and then I'll flip it over on the other side. So I'm going to take this off from here, and I'm going to put it on the opposite side of the stamp block. And I got a little gummy in there. Let me just see. Looks like glue or something. I think I got it out. Well, we'll see. So now what we want to do is we want to stamp once and then stamp right onto the card. And we want to try and get it in the same spots that we did the other card. Now that was the first generation. The other one was a second generation that we did. So let me do that. And then next we want, I am going to clean that stamp off right away because I don't know if what was on there. And I want to make sure we got it off from there. Okay. So next we want is to put our stems in there. And so we're going to use garden green for the stems. And I am going to do stamp off and then stamp on. So, and I want to have it come right about there. And then we're going to take our Old Olive, no, it's Mossy Meadow is what we want. Light Mossy Meadow to color in the stems. And I'm just going to start at the bottom and just start going up from there. So celebration is still continuing. It ends at the end of September, at the end of this month. And I don't believe I'm using anything in this card from the celebration catalog. But I wanted to start doing some more fall-like cards. And so that's why we aren't doing a Stampin' Up or a celebration card. But when you spend $50 in the catalog, any catalog, you can pick an item out of the celebration catalog for free. There's actually, I think, 3 items where you'd have to spend $100 in that celebration catalog, but otherwise everything else is with $50 purchase. And we've had some wonderful things that we've used. And I think I have a couple more I want to show you yet. Just not tonight. So, did everybody have a good holiday? Okay, so now we've got that taken care of. So what we want to do is add the water. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Pool Party, and I'm going to do the second generation on the Pool Party. No, I'm going to use the first generation on the Pool Party again. So I'm just going to get it inked up. And so this would be our first generation that we're doing right here, going directly onto the card. And then this would be our second generation if we were stamping the second time around. So that's taken care of now. So then we'll take our punch and we're going to line it up. And I think I'm going to need to have a little assistance here. I think if I grab this, I think that'll work. So I'm just going to line this up. It's a little bit too long, and I gotta trim the bottom off so I can get it down into the punch. Excuse me. That's better. So I'm lining it all the way around, and I'm squeezing halfway down, and I'm just going to check everything and see if that's where I want it, and it looks fine, so I'm going to just continue punching the rest of the way down. So we've got our jar jar done, not the flowers part yet. So let's go ahead and stamp our flowers, and I am going to scrub off the stems. I don't think I've done that yet either. This is our Stampin' scrub, and if we need it, we can put mist on there to get it wet. So this is already wet, and I know which side's wet because there's a raindrop there and there's a sun on this side. So these are done. So now let's go bring our sunflower in. So I've already stamped that because this isn't an exercise on stamping, and I've showed you how to do stamping that way. So I figured I can get a little bit ahead here. So we're going to start with our dark pumpkin pie, and we're going to go around the sunflower.
on the petals, just the very base of the petals. And we'll just go around the one right now, because these alcohol markers, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, because some of it helps when the ink is still able to blend. That helps a little bit. And then, so the next one is going to be our dark Mango Melody. And I am just going to go up a little bit farther on the petal. And then we're going to take our light Mango Melody and we'll finish off the rest of that petal. And I'm using the bullnose tip on all of these. It gives me a little more control, particularly on when you're doing the tip portion of the sunflower. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to go and use our dark mossy meadow, our dark soft suede. And that's going to go around the inner circle on the flower. And again, I'm using that bullnose tip. I'm just going to go around a second time, and we'll top that off, and then we're going to just fill in the rest. Went out of the lines, so I'm going to see if I can touch it up with our color lifter, and it's just up here. So right about here I went out, and I'm just going to push it back in. I don't know if you can even see it. I think I got it. There's one more right here. So then we'll want to take our light and dark Calypso Coral and do this flower down here. I'm going to do the dark in the center, and then on where these edges are curled over. And then I'm going to do some dark up here. And there's something down in here. And then we'll take the light, and I'm just going to finish this up here. And then down here I am going to color in the rest of the flower. And again, I went out of the lines. So we're just going to use that color lifter again. Very good. Then the next thing we want to do is our mossy meadow. And I am just going to use a dark mossy meadow and just touch up on some of these. It's kind of like a fern-like thing. And then I'm just going to go around the base of the center of the flower here. And then we'll lose our light mossy meadow. And so next we'll want to do is fussy cut that. So we're going to take our shears. And hopefully these are going to work, because I did cut some glue early on, or some sticky tape early on today, and I'm hoping I didn't gummy these up yet. So we're just going to leave about 1/16 of an inch of white around the edge of the card, just to give it some definition. And I'm not going to worry about getting every little nook and cranny. I kind of went out of the lines, so I'm going to see if I can touch it up with our color lifter, and it's just up here. So right about here I went out, and I'm just going to push it back in. I don't know if you can even see it. I think I got it. There's one more right here. So then we'll want to take our light and dark calypso coral and do this flower down here. I'm going to do the dark in the center, and then on where these edges are curled over. And then I'm going to do some dark up here. And there's something down in here. And then we'll take the light, and I'm just going to finish this up here. And then down here I am going to color in the rest of the flower. And again, I went out of the lines. So we're just going to use that color lifter again. Very good. Then the next thing we want to do is our mossy meadow. And I am just going to use a dark mossy meadow and just touch up on some of these. It's kind of like a fern-like thing. And then I'm just going to go around the base of the center of the flower here. And then we'll lose our light mossy meadow. And then we'll finish this off, pulling it from the dark all the way out to the tip. So next we'll want to do is fussy cut that. So we're going to take our shears, and hopefully these are going to work, because I did cut some glue early on, or some sticky tape early on today, and I'm hoping I didn't gum any of these up yet. So we're just going to leave about 1/16 of an inch of white around the edge of the card, just to give it some definition. And I'm not going to worry about getting every little nook and cranny. And I'll just tip that off there, because it'll start to give me a problem once I get around the edge. You think I was doing that off camera? I'll have to cut and paste that out of there, I think, and if it's not on camera. Just about done. And let me see. I'm going to round these pointy ends off from here. I think that works. So I think we've got our flowers in jar all ready for the front of the card. So let's work on that. So we're going to need a 4 by 5.5 inch card. No, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. And then we have our piece of designer series paper for the top portion of the card. And then we got our grain for the bottom portion, and I'm going to have them overlap 1/16 of an inch, just to give me something to hang on to. So we'll just put those down with glue. I used that a couple weeks ago on a card. Added a floor to a card. So I want to have 1/8 of an inch around the top and the sides in the, I'm trying to think what color that is. I think it's early espresso. I don't remember. Oh, right here. Right next to my elbow. So, and that's what we're using for the background paper. And then we're using this in these two pieces here. These two designer series papers from the let me see what it was called, In Good Taste collection. We need to use our stitch rectangle dies, and we're going to take the 3rd largest and use this on this card. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it through our die cutter, cut and emboss, and we're going to line it up, center this on the card here. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it partially onto the plate. So we will not cut the 4th side up here. We are only going to cut these 2 sides. How we do that is we line it up. See, there's a beveled edge on here. We line that up at the edge of the card, and then when it rolls through, it will not cut that all the way through. It'll probably leave a mark, but it will not cut through, and we do want to fold it at that point, so that'll be fine to have it indented. So let me do that real quick. So we'll just take this tape off from here. This tape is, I can find it for you. It's a Post-it note that doesn't tear when I pull it off the paper. It does sometimes leave a little sticky residue, so I have to clean that up. So, and this did take 2 passes through the cut and emboss to get it to cut through all this paper here. And I'm just trying to just get the sticky residue off the front of the card right now. Let me see if I can get it with this. Yeah. So it did take 2 passes to cut through this card, and then it, as you can see, it did put the marks there, the outline here, but it did not cut it all the way through, so that's good. And we want to fold it on that line there where it dented it, so let's just fold it over, and we'll emboss it, or we'll burnish it with our embossing folder. And I want to make sure I get that down good. So I'm going to do it on both sides. Yeah. And then we want to also put a fold score line right in the middle of the card on this flap. So let's, and this was 5 1/2, so it's 2 1/4 that we want to mark that as. And I am going to mark it with my pencil so that I can visualize it on the scoring, or the trimmer. So we want it to be the score. So I'm moving this blade off the track. Well, out of the way, it's still on the track. And so we've got our 2 1/2 here. And it should take me right over the top, and it does. So I actually forgot about how convenient it was. I went back several times, and it did leave a mark, so and I forgot that we wanted it to be the center of this, the flap, not the center of the card. So let me see if I can just score that again. And that's why I had to use my marker, because I had to find out how long this was, and then I marked it. So let me get our score line right there, and this is 4 1/4, so it's 2 1/8 is what we want it to be. So let's see. That looks better. Where am I? There's lines that are in the brick for the mortar, and then there's my pencil lines, and then there's the score line. I couldn't find the right line. So let me just burnish this. And we'll burnish it on the other side as well. So, and actually it should have been burnished this way. So let me try that again. Okay, and I am just going to go back in and see if I can erase those pencil marks that I put on there. Although I couldn't visualize them, so I don't know that anybody else would be able to visualize them. Sorry if my head was in the way. Okay. So now we've got that taken care of. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put in our slider card. So we've got a piece here that's 3.5. Actually, it might be 3 3/4. I don't remember what our final measurements was. 3 3/4 by 6 inches. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch on one end. And we'll fold that over right away. And I'm just going to burnish that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim this down so that it is the same size as the flap. So we want to trim off these corners. So we're just going to extend this line down to the fold, and we'll trim those off. So this is going away. So I'm cutting the base of the card at the base, and then I'm just trimming off that little extra corner piece. And I'm actually going to trim this up a little bit higher because I have it part in the fold on the score line, so I want that off from there too. So now we want to put some adhesive on this portion, and I am going to use our tear and tape. So I find that to be the strongest, so I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to put it close to the edge of the fold. And then we can tear that off. I haven't had my take your pick tool out yet, so that must be doing pretty good. And I'm just going to fold this over because I don't want it to gum up and cause a problem with the folding mechanism. And now I have to think of how this goes on. Okay, so we're going to put it on this way, and I could do it like this and put it on here, but I have a better lining up the edges when I do it this way, and then I'll just feed the card through. So I'm just lining up the bottom of the flap with the bottom of the slider card. Then I'm just going to fold that through, and I'm just going to bend it a little bit to get it in there. And then that is working. And I'm going to want to round my corners. So let me just get this off here because I need to have a firm surface to get this to work for me. Because I can't do it with my fingers. I don't have the strength. So I need to be able to put my palm down on it. Okay, and I am just going to, I've got this fingernail file, I'm just going to buff that off from there. Okay. And then let's bring this back in here. So what we need next is we need to put on our card base. So I'm going to fold this. This is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch, no, yeah, 4 1/4 by 11 inch card. And it's burnished at 5.5, or scored at 5.5. And we're going to burnish it now. And then I am going to line this up over here. And then I'm going to lift this up out of here. And I am going to put the markings of where this stops. So I'm going to put one up here. And in the 2 corners, and that'll help me line up where I want to stamp. And we're going to put in our happy anniversary in the center of that, and we're going to do that in our early espresso. And then we're also going to put in the inside of the card our other sentiment. Want to make sure you can see it. Try not to stick my head in there. And I'm just going to go right and left and straight up. And then we're going to erase okay. Then we need to do the inside of the card. And that is going to say, here's to another year of happily ever after. I might have that a little bit crooked, but I think it'll work. And just give me a second to stamp off. And close up this. And then I'm going to actually scrub those 2 right away before the sets up on them. Okay, so now that we have that done, what we want to do is we want to attach this card front to the card base. And we're going to use our foam adhesive strips. So I've got one right here. And I'm going to put these on the edge of the card. This piece right here. Put them on both sides on the very edge. And I want to make sure that I'm getting it as close as I can to the edge. And that is beyond the edge, so let's see if I can get that back in there. So it was beyond the edge of the card, so I had to get it back on the track where we wanted it to be. And it's still sticking out a little bit here, so let's see if I can work that in. Okay. And then I'm going to clip this off here and then put it down on the base of the card. And I'm just going to clip this off right here, kind of back clip it so it doesn't stick out. It might work better if I do it from this direction. There we go. We got one more we got to put on. And I don't know why I didn't do the other side this way. So I could have just flipped it over. Okay, so we've got all that there. And what I'm going to do is, I've learned this from Jenny McGuire, that to use this ecstatic, which is, we used to have this in Stampin' Up when we do dry embossing. So if we just put a little bit of powder around the edge of this, it won't stick. It'll prevent the sliding card from sticking to the edge of the inner card. So let me just see. Okay, that's going to work. And let me see. This still looks like I want to get that in farther. Okay. Okay, so then we want to pull those tabs off. And we'll just take it with our take your pick tool, and I kind of tore it there. And we'll get this last one. And then what we need to do is line it up over the card base. So that works. Next we need to do is glue on our base or our jar, and I am going to glue it on. So I need to make sure that we have enough room for the top. So if I glue it, put glue up to about 1/8 of an inch from where the water line is, we should be fine. And I'm not sure where my silicone mat is. I found it. And so right about here. And I am just going to glue that down. I'm just centering it. And we will glue this down. And I am just going to put the glue on this jar because we don't want to glue it to the background or the mechanism won't work. And I just want to center it, visually center it. So, does it work? Yes. And I should have, I don't know if I went and, don't think I went and burnished the center fold once we had it going the right way. But so there's our card. That's if you want to use it as a pop-up. But if you want to put it up this way, you can do it like that. We should probably put a bumblebee on there, shouldn't we? So we've got these bumblebees. They are with the mini catalog. And I am just going to, actually I think they're in the everyday catalog. I'm not sure. So I shouldn't have said where they're at. It's either in the mini catalog or the everyday catalog. And I am going to use our mini glue dots to do this. And I'm just going to get it onto the bumblebee. And then we'll just put them on to the sunflower. Perfect. Let's see if I can't find the envelope and we'll be ready to rock and roll.
I hope you like this project as much as I did. As you can see, it would work great with just about any sentiment stamp set. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you have enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji. That means you like it. And would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free. And I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Bear with me a little bit longer because I want to let you know of the promotions going on right now. Experience everything the autumn season has to offer with this month's paper pumpkin kit. Whether you're thinking about crisp red apples or you're ready to carve some spooky jack-o'-lanterns, or both, the Haunts and Harvest Paper Pumpkin Kit is a hands-on crafting experience for all autumn lovers. The kit contains enough supplies to create 12 treat boxes. Offers a versatile autumnal experience with the selection of treat box styles. Take your pick of apple, pumpkin, or jack-o'-lantern treat boxes. The paper pumpkin box is even designed to easily transform into a vintage wheelbarrow to display your harvest. The Haunts and Harvest Paper Pumpkin Kit runs from August 11th through September 10th. The July-December mini catalog is here. Sales run from August 3rd through January 3rd. It's your passport to stunning seasonal projects. It contains all the products you'll need to craft, create, and celebrate during Halloween, Christmas, and more. Are you ready to celebrate? Celebration is one of our biggest promotions of the year. Are you ready to celebrate? During the celebration, you can earn exclusive products for free. For every $50 you spend, you can add your pick of a celebration product to the cart at no additional cost. Sale runs August 3rd through September 30th. Mark your calendars. I'll be back Wednesday, September 8th at 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll be doing something from the celebration catalog. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.